With an introduction to algebraic fractions or rational expressions. So the algebraic fraction is simply a fraction with a polynomial in the numerator and or denominator. And I'll just abbreviate for the sake of space and time on the video. So it's a fraction with a polynomial in the numerator and or the denominator. Excluded values are x values that create division by zero, that would cause division by zero. And division by zero would make the expression undefined. So it would create an undefined expression if you have division, if you have zero in the denominator. So the expression would become undefined. So excluded values are sometimes called domain restrictions. So I want you to be comfortable with either set of instructions as they're given. So the instructions could say list domain restrictions, or the instructions could say list excluded values. So in the world of rational equations and rational expressions, excluded values, domain restrictions, are numbers that create division by zero. So you're simply looking at the denominators. So let's look at a few of these together. So here, the first problem set, you're just simply asked to list the excluded values. So I'm simply looking at the denominator. If x is -5, then I would have an undefined expression. So x not equaling -5 would be my excluded value. Looking at something like number 2, if I set the denominator equal to 0, x is not allowed to equal +7 because that is the x value that would make the expression undefined. Looking at something like number 3, if I set the denominator equal to 0, x is not allowed to equal -3. That would make the expression undefined. Let's go down and look at the second row. And let's look at number 4. So here I have 2 over 3x. If I set that denominator equal to 0, if x itself is 0, then the expression is undefined. So that would be my only excluded value. Looking at number 6, notice that the variable is in the numerator. There's no variable in the denominator. So here you would have no restrictions. X could be all real numbers, simply because I don't have the variable in the denominator. It's okay to have 0 on top, but it's not okay to have 0 in the denominator. So if that helps you at all, then use that little acronym to help you understand or memorize this if you're struggling with it. Okay, let's move on and look at a few more skills. Next up would be to simplify the expression and list the excluded values. So a problem like number 1, looking at the denominator, x is not allowed to take on the value of -6. And next, simplify. So look at the numerator, remove the GCF, and then I have the binomial x plus 6 in the denominator. Since I have a complete binomial factor of x plus 6 in the numerator, this is what I would divide out of the problem, and my simplified answer would be 6. Looking at a problem like number 3, my excluded value, x is not allowed to equal -2, and then GCF in the numerator. I've got 5 times the binomial x plus 2. The denominator is the binomial x plus 2, so that leaves the problem, and my simplified answer becomes +5. This can be one of the most confusing topics for Algebra 1 students until they understand what's happening. Looking at a problem like number 5, I need to first factor my denominator so that I can list the excluded values. So my excluded values would be positive and -2. X is not allowed to equal +2, x is not allowed to equal -2. And then comparing for simplification purposes, the binomial x plus 2 occurs in both numerator and the denominator rather. So my simplified answer would be 1 over x minus 2 for a problem like number 5. And let's do number 6 on the video, and I think I'll stop the video and let you all practice on your own. So a problem like number 6, once again, set up very much exactly like number 5 actually. So I copy my numerator over, factor my denominator, list my excluded values, and then I look at it for simplifying. I see that the binomial x plus 5 is a factor in both numerator and the denominator. So my simplified answer is 1 over x minus 5. And I would ask you all to take it from here on your own. A problem like number 2, since it's on the screen right here, the excluded value would be 0, and then your simplified answer would just be 8 for a problem like number 2.